There's a fantastic lineup of speakers today, so I want to make my presentation as brief as possible. My name is David R. Allen. I usually try and stay in the background and keep my opinions to myself and my views. Today is an exception, and I will share with you my vision and predictions for the future of this world-changing technology and network. I support Bitcoin in any way I can and have done so for many, many years. Today I support the chain bearing the name Bitcoin Cash. Let me start by telling you why. Oops, I guess I should do this too. The future of Bitcoin Cash is self-determination. I believe we should have the right to determine everything we're going to do. This seems like a simple, logical concept until you discover your thoughts and movements are being restricted. I support Bitcoin Cash because when I was growing up in the 50s and 60s, there was no shortage of people who wanted to tell us what to do, who to associate with, and what to wear. In the 1960s, the establishment wanted to tell us who to hate, when to go to war, and above all, to simply take orders without asking questions. By the mid-1960s, the vast majority of the youth movement had a different idea. We were part of a revolution. We asked uncomfortable questions of those who did not have any reasonable answers. It was a global opportunity to stand up to the establishment, and I even remember hearing myself say, "Don't trust anyone over 30. We fought for peace and got some. We looked for love and got some. But this massive movement hit a brick wall by the early 1970s. And like the end of a long summer vacation, we went back to the lives we had tried to escape, feeling defeated. Bitcoin as a concept was always there. We had 2 of the 3 ingredients needed to make the world a better place. We knew something was missing, and although we did not know what it was, there was often a feeling that something could give us economic freedom and financial sovereignty. The missing link was the opportunity to send value to anyone in the world without needing to ask permission from anyone else. Sorry, a new way to value each other. Bitcoin is about how we value each other. About 50 years later, the promise and goal was clear. Many tried to solve the problems that stood in the way of reaching that goal. Bitcoin was born, and this peer-to-peer digital cash network held the promise of allowing the global population to transact without trust, peer-to-peer, uncensorable and unstoppable, bringing economic freedom and financial sovereignty to the entire world. Exciting times. We are here today because Bitcoin Cash has a bright future, and you all know it. There were some bumps in the road, some groups and individuals that got in the way of fulfilling that promise. Today, the professional standards of the Bitcoin ABC team and others, Bitcoin Cash protocol has a better future than ever before. Their supporters are 100% committed to the success of Bitcoin Cash as it gets closer and closer to reaching the goals and fulfilling the promise. The future of Bitcoin Cash is my favorite subject. There are a few advantages to getting older, and surprisingly, having experience adds depth. I have had the advantage of seeing the creation of personal computers and their peripherals. I have met a number of the creators and designers, and I have spent a considerable amount of time with software programmers. From this experience and perspective, I have seen patterns that cannot be denied. An idea drives a team, creates a product or service, then succeeds or fails depending on expertise, market factors, and available resources. Rinse and repeat. The internet was conceived in 1969 and finally realized adoption over a period of more than 20 years. From concept to success took literally decades. But today, as we have seen repeatedly, a good idea can blossom in only a few short years. The iPhone became real in 2007, and was successful within a few years. Our iteration of Bitcoin is Bitcoin Cash. Putting aside the side-railed foundational development from 2010 to 2017, the reality is Bitcoin Cash has really only been with us just over 2 years, and the pattern for its success is strong. Bitcoin Cash development is far better today than it was 2 years ago. Today, Bitcoin Cash development is far better than it was 2 years ago or even 1 year ago. I'll share a couple of improvements that I've seen happen over these past years and months. There is a more clear and agreed upon roadmap. Public developer meetings where developers and others can bring forward different protocol upgrade proposals and where progress on network upgrade features are being discussed. Less chaos and lies are being pushed in mainstream and social media. There are more development tools for app developers. There are a lot more developers working on products and applications. More and more Bitcoin Cash functionality is being unlocked for users and developers, for example. Scripting language gets expanded and becomes better understood. More people are working on a professional level and increasingly find each other to collaborate constructively. These are only some of the things that I've seen. What is even more positive about all this is these improvements are not linear. Acceleration is visible in many of these areas. Some of the problems that need our ongoing attention. There needs to be more value given to people adding value, and less attention to people who add mostly noise. Although the day-to-day drama can be quite entertaining and fills media and social media, it is also a distraction from the real work that is happening. There is too much value given to the opinion of the latest YouTube celeb, while others that create real utility and value every day are being ignored or even trampled by the stampeding crowd. Bad actors are not recognized early enough and get a chance to create disruption and a toxic culture. Although it is good to be welcoming, one should be aware that there is a need to be vigilant and a need to hold oneself and each other to higher standards than currently is the case. A need to not jump on every Reddit and Twitter bandwagon. A need to do research rather than just state yet another opinion. There is also still not enough communication between the different parties that stand on the front line of this technology and network. Language, culture, and borders seem to remain difficult to conquer divides. Different crucial actors in the space still fail to find ways to directly and constructively communicate with each other, and every one of them should strive to find ways to bring down those barriers and regularly reach out to others and find out what they are doing or needing. I believe that most are working towards the same goals, and I want this system to reach those goals and for this network and currency to fulfill its promises. Communication is the responsibility of all actors, and I still see too many that are mostly focused on their own little corner of the network. The last point I want to make is that there is an ongoing need for funding of infrastructure development, as we've heard earlier. This world-changing, freedom-bringing technology needs a dedicated and professional group of developers working on the parts that most users don't normally think about. The free and open source node software is like the roads or even the sewer system. It needs ongoing maintenance, work to prepare it for the future, and people to be on standby in case of mishaps. These things don't magically happen or come for free. We are very used to these things being paid for out of taxes, but in this system, it is up to all players who are dependent on the system to make sure the roads and sewers work in a way that we don't have to experience malfunction. Sustainable and drama-free funding for this is essential to our success. I have a crystal ball. My predictions. We will learn to work together and give up on infighting as we wake up to the fact that we are chasing after the same goals. Those that don't agree will leave, as others have in the past. Developers from outside the current Bitcoin Cash ecosystem will see a new welcoming community that encourages professional protocol and application development. The road will be rocky with lots of ups and downs, guaranteed. The emotions and beliefs of Bitcoin Cash supporters will at times be as volatile as the price. Adoption will accelerate as we focus on utility and ease of use. More and more people will start to understand the power and value of Bitcoin Cash. The ideas that drove Bitcoin will not be destroyed. Returning to the goal, economic freedom and financial sovereignty are an essential step towards self-determination. With everything we do, we need to always keep our goals in mind. This ensures we do not drift off and, like earlier projects, one day find ourselves going into an entirely different direction, waiting for a nonsensical solution that is forever 18 months out. The goal of Bitcoin is to bring the world economic freedom and financial sovereignty through permissionless, censorship-resistant, peer-to-peer digital cash. This is an essential step towards self-determination. Bitcoin Cash is the project most focused on this goal and the most likely to succeed. From my position in the balloon, looking at the future, I can only conclude that the goals are in sight. The next speaker is a man that over the past years has earned my deepest respect, and his technical and strategic leadership have humbled me. I want to take this opportunity to thank Amaury Séchet publicly for keeping the dream alive and for being instrumental in getting this project back on track. The future of Bitcoin Cash is not set in stone. We are all responsible for making it happen, creating a new paradigm of a welcoming, non-toxic environment. Economic freedom and financial sovereignty are now back within our grasp. Thank you for your attention, and without any further ado, Amaury.